play drumbeat grows louder and louder every week, to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scover and when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's is offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on Sport.
All right, welcome in. It's In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1 of our 2-hour extravaganza until 10 p.m. Eastern Time as we watch and, more importantly, bet on the world of sports. College basketball and the NBA is back, sort of. You know, one game wasn't designed this way, but this was the game, one of them that got flamed out with all the fires in California last month. So we have Lakers and Charlotte Hornets tonight, and then we really kind of get back into swing of things tomorrow. But we do have some college basketball, decent little college basketball games, and we dug deep into the depths to find some great trends in college basketball in addition to the top 25 games that are in action. Dave, what's going on, my friend? How are you tonight?
I'm good. Ready to go. You know, I didn't know what to wear tonight because we were college basketball oriented. Look at all these games on the slate, different things. Yesterday we discussed a little bit about spring training and baseball and where it started. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go with the Toronto stuff today, the Blue Jays, because everybody was talking about them. And Vladdy put his deadline out and said, that's it. And I don't know where he's going, but I think there's only 2 places. I think there's only 2 places that he's going to end up if he leaves Toronto. And tomorrow we'll talk about USA and Canada. So I had to get this out of my system. If it's not Toronto, where he's going to be, Scott Wetzel, where's Vladdy going to end up? Where do you, Scott Wetzel, want to see him end up? Because I know where our producer back in the offices, maybe not Matty G, but I know where Vincenzo wants him to end up. Where's he going to end up? Where do you think?
Well, where would I want him to end up, or where I think he'll end up, are 2 different places. Would I take him on the Red Sox? Yeah, I mean, but they've already screwed up the Alex Bregman situation, so who's to say they can really handle another superstar player? So I don't think he's really going to end up there.
What are you talking about? They screwed it up. He's already there.
Yeah, he's there, but he wants to play third base, and they also are paying a guy $30 million for the next 10 years to play third base in Rafael Devers. So now they got a little internal fighting going on. Bregman's saying the right thing. But meanwhile, you got Devers that says, I'm playing third, and that's the position Bregman plays. So now, they pay the guy $40 million for 3 years, $120 million, and they don't have a position for him. I mean, didn't they check this stuff out? So what a screwball organization.
So Vladdy not to Boston. So where then? Where do you think
San
Vladdy
Francisco. I think he's going to San Francisco. I think, as we talked a little bit yesterday, I think they got the money to spend. They tried to, sign Aaron Judge. That didn't work out. They tried for Soto. That didn't work out. They're trying for all these big time free agents. So I think they'll go over the top, and I think they get Vlad. I think they're there or Texas, one of the two. But I think San Fran. That's where I'd put my money.
Okay, Texas is interesting. That's good to know. I really thought you were going to say the Mets because he's not going to the Yankees. I was waiting for the Mets package to pop up, here on the screen, and if it's there, feel free to play it, Vinny. But I thought he was going to the Mets. I thought we were going to get good news.
I could see the Mets trading for him this year, but not re-signing him. Right? Because eventually they're going to have to trade him. Oh. Now, personally, I would trade him now, but okay, you want to try and win this year? Okay, you're 55-1 with him on the team. So what are you going to be without him? All right, so chances are they're not going to, do well. You got a trade deadline's going to come. You realize you're not going to pay him that kind of money. So I can see the Mets paying whatever it takes to get him and add him to this year's club. But are they going to pay another guy? Because he's asking for Soto money. And the team is going to give it. So, I mean, they're already paying Lindor, and they're paying Soto big time bucks. I mean, I know the dude wants to win because he wants to renovate that whole area and turn it into like a mecca. So it's not just the Mets. But, boy, that's a lot of money, Dave. I don't think he'll do that. But I think he would trade for him.
Wow.
And win this year.
All right. Well, that's where we're at the beginning. We'll debate it more in between all these college basketball games. I mean, there's a bunch of them getting ready to start. And did I see on the list these trends and stuff that you've come up with? Is this say St. Thomas, Minnesota, and South Dakota? Was that actually on the list, Wetzel? What are you doing right now?
They are just tipping off. St. Thomas is the number 3 team in college basketball as far as overs are concerned. South Dakota is the number 2 team in college basketball. And keep in mind, there are 364 Division I college basketball teams. So we have a game that has the number 2 over team versus the number 3 over team. 36-11-1, I think it is, over this season, these two teams combined. It's a big number, 175.5, but who cares? We're going to get to 190 with this game. 200. I think they had 200 points the first time they played. You got to go over. St. Thomas versus South Dakota, 175.5. By the way, South Dakota 8-1 over at home this year as well. Last 5 meetings between these two teams, over. Everything.
For those of you still using rotation numbers, it's game number 7-11 and 7-12. If you came to my window or at the counter in Vegas and you told me you wanted to bet this game, I would really be wondering why and couldn't find it. There it is. 3.5 point spread, 176.5 total. Boy, that's impressive. I mean, listen, the research is being done for this show. The graphics are being done for this show. This isn't the only game going on, though, in South Dakota. North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Another big
There's
game.
Another one.
How about you looking at all these? This is impressive. What else did you come up with here?
All right, we got 156.5, South Dakota State hosting North Dakota State, right? Both are two pretty good teams. One's 16-9, the other one's 15-9. And I like that when it comes to overs because it generally, when you get these high numbers, it takes 2 to tango, right? And if you have a team that's 5 and 15, they could get blown out, 100 to 50, and the game goes under. So, but these two teams are good teams. North Dakota State, 18-7 over. They're also top 10 over team in all of college basketball. How about South Dakota State plays better at home, 5-1 straight up and against the spread their last 6. So you're going to get them scoring. You're going to get North Dakota State scoring. It's only 156.5. It's not like the 175.5 we were talking about earlier. I mean, this has got 90 to 80 written all over it. double down with North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Big rivalry there, too. It's got to be, right?
Big rivalry, yeah. 7.5 point spread. The game just getting ready to go off the board. Close around 158 and a half at a couple places. So maybe you're on to something with the over and the steam up. Another one that we'll have to keep our eye on. I'm impressed that, we got to be one of the only shows having trends and different things from those two games. That's the way you kick off a Wednesday show without any. Oh, there is one NBA game, and we'll have a couple basketball guests between Colby and Big G. I like to call him Gil, and then Cam will be later. I think Cam will be okay with me wearing Blue Jay stuff today, because tomorrow we're not wearing anything Canada. It's about the USA and Canada tomorrow, the hockey game. But today,
the big hockey.
College. Yeah.
I'll give you one more real quickly. They're underway, about halftime, so you're getting a little bit of a discount. Charleston Southern Buccaneers versus the High Point Panthers. Over 143.5 in-game number. 80 points or more for High Point in 10 of their last 12. Both teams strong over teams in the first game at 170. Charleston Southern, High Point.
Let's go.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one, just getting underway. So we touched on some of the obscure college basketball games that are just tipping off, or one or two that are already underway. How about a little Kentucky Vandy to top off our spectacular Tuesday here. Did like Kentucky in the game. They were leading by 1 at the half. They've opened it up a little bit here. Now it's down to 3. Okay, I think they were leading 47-41 a moment ago. So 47-44. I got to see Vandy beat Kentucky. I know Kentucky's got some injuries, but 16-3 you see there. Last 19 games against Vandy, and that includes the one loss earlier. I got to see Vandy sweep Kentucky. I don't know when the last time that's happened. I'm sure it hasn't been in a long, long time. Then you throw in the fact that, Vandy beat Alabama in football. I mean, this was like, this is really crazy for Vandy sports to be able to pull off that daily double. So I did like Kentucky. It was only 4.5. Thought they'd be leading a little bit more than what they are, but, I'm okay with a 3-point lead right now, Dave. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, same. The fact that Vandy, beat them already in the first game. So the revenge factor comes into the handicap a little bit, but Kentucky's got a couple guys out. The line was lower. I mean, it was 9 or 8.5, I think, at Vandy. So that might have been a little bit extra. This one might have been a little bit light. Like you said, right now it's 47-44. In-game numbers back to the original number, 4.5/5.5. It's bouncing. 159.5 is the total. Right now, looking at that, I would go under. But it's not going to be a blowout, at least so far, what we've seen.
Right.
I think, you may have to sweat this one all the way down to the end, and then it'll, be a Kentucky 6, 7, 8-point win. I don't think they'll win by double digits, or, Vandy wins outright. So I didn't have a strong opinion before the game. It was a lot of question marks. Right now, I'm with you. I'm leaning Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Got a couple games here that are expected to be close, but are blowouts. North Carolina by 24 over NC State. The boys of Jim Valvano, Lorenzo Charles and company, long, long gone. 67-43, laying 20. Yeah, they made the Final Four last year. Laying 26.5, over under 168.5. And then I thought Providence and Georgetown would be a lot closer, but the Hoyas lead by 19. That one's 16.5, 152.5. Any chance of either one of those two dogs come back and make a game of it?
I don't think so. When you get to these points of this point of the season, I mean, on here we're always looking for dogs and points to take, especially if you have a position already in a short favorite. But no, those two, I don't think so. I was looking at Nebraska at Penn State. Penn State is blowing out Nebraska. That's another one, 83-65. I have with less than 4 minutes to go. No, I don't want Nebraska plus the points. They just turned it off, but it's probably going to not. I mean, when you're leading by 17 with just under the 3-minute mark, that game's probably not coming back up actually in the book. So how about Cincinnati, West Virginia? That's one in the Big 12. Had my eye on before the game. West Virginia struggling a little bit, 3.5-point favorite against Cincy. What do you think?
I'd probably take a flyer on West Virginia just because they're at home. Get them a pick 'em right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
125.5 is your total.
I got 124.5 here. Yeah, that's incredibly low.
Yeah. It was only 129.5 to start the game. I remember that. So it wasn't big anyway. But
correct.
Yeah, I'd take West just because they're at home. Neither team doing particularly well. How about Notre Dame? Did you see their head coach after Sunday's loss to Louisville?
Nope.
So he had one of those. Remember Mike Gunday, "I'm a man" speeches?
Oh,
You remember that, right? Right, 10 years
40,
ago.
I'm a man.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He had one of those. That's what he did. He yelled and screamed at the media, "Don't blame the kids. They're this. They're going to school." The same thing. It wasn't as Gundy went on for if you watch that video, he went on for 15 minutes. I mean, that was one of the all-time great classics, right? Yeah. So this one was only about a minute and a half, but he had the same speech, lay off the kids, blah, 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 blame me. So how does Notre Dame respond tonight? They're down 26 against SMU at home.
Oh,
way to have my back there, boys. I go out on a limb, right? I'm not going to get fired or anything, but I go out on a limb. I alienate the media. I stick up for you guys. And how do you respond? 63-37 at home, no less. The Irish.
Oh,
not
wow. Not good at all. No.
Yeah.
I want to shout out real quick at the top. I just looked down at my social media. You're at Opposite Picks. I'm at SportsGrid, Cake and Sig. Johnny Roast Beef said, with Marte and Alonso gone, that's $48 million to pay Vlad. Last year, before they strike, Cohen goes all in. He says Vladdy's going to the Mets. Johnny Roast Beef, right there for you. Says he's going there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that Vinny? Is that your burner? I mean, is Johnny Roast Beef your burner, Vinny? My goodness.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean,
we're a Mets show. I mean, we became a Mets show last year on that run. So I just had to jump that one in there because I love when the people come, and give us stuff to say or talk about during the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Encourage that. Listen, I can see it. I mean, the guy wants to win. He wants to. Right now, the Shea Stadium, Citibank Field, next to Shea, that's a dumpy area. Although it's cleaned up a little bit, Dave. So yeah, it was just as dumpy can be, right? So, but he's cleaned it up a little bit, and he's got plans to really make it a whole big complex. So part of that obviously is the Mets winning. So he's got ulterior motives, we'll say. He's a Mets fan, but he's not thinking I'm just going to make my money with the Mets. I'm going to make my money when I rebuild this whole city block area.
When your team wins, more people go to the games. I don't know if anybody really realizes that the Cleveland Cavaliers are having their best year in years at the gate. They're the best team in basketball. Correlated? I would think so.
Yeah. So you wonder why these other teams won't spend money on their players.
Yeah. Just win.
That'd be a hell of a lineup. I got to tell you, that would be a great lineup if they got him. In-game live, SGP coming up next.
Slow play drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs have a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the grid. 24 past hour number 1. You know what time it is. Little SGP same game parlay time. All right, we're going to head out to Mountain West action later on tonight. 10 o'clock, I believe it is. It might even be 10:30 Eastern time, to tell you the truth. But it's definitely at least 10 anyway. Boise State at home against New Mexico. Real good Mountain West game, right? So let's plant our flag on Boise State. Let's lay the 4.5 against the Lobos of New Mexico, who play great at home. They're not quite as good on the road. They're a good team, though. Don't get me wrong. But we're going to grab the hometown Broncos laying 4.5. We're going to go under. We're going to lower just a tad. It's 152.5. We're going to lower it to 149.5 plus 122 odds. I don't think we're going to get a high-scoring game here. Boise State 5-0 under last 5 games. New Mexico 5-0 under last 5 road games as they are here. Boise State, by the way, they've won and covered 5 straight at home, which is one more reason why we're going to side with Boise State in this game. So let's go the under 149.5 plus odds, adjusted line. Then we're going to go under 72.5 first half points, which they actually boosted it up about 100 points. I was a little surprised. Since that's definitely correlated with the under for the game. And this is the only tricky one. We're going to go Boise State win the first half and then Boise State win the game. Add it all up, and you're getting about 4.5 to 1 plus 464.
I'll take your word on it. This has been pretty good. Been having a pretty good week with the same game parlay. You've been all over it. Did that BYU one get there last night? There was so many. That was just so easy. It was one thing that didn't get there, right? You went 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. I can't remember.
Yeah, the Boise State or the BYU under 75.5 points didn't hit.
That team
hit all the
total.
others.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about that one.
And
okay.
And I will say this: I originally put the Kansas team total in.
Right.
Because I thought BYU was going to win, right? And it lowered it way down. It was like next to nothing. So I said, all right, let me just put the let me put the BYU one in, and then that's the one that bumped it way up. But I knew, you got a little greedy. I should have just gone with what I really thought was going to happen. But yeah, came up a little short.
Sometimes, when you start to change things around for the better payout, and you don't really right.
You.
Seen that happen so many times. Yeah. So the parlays are tough. And, we know that going in. It's a 4-piece. I think Boise wins the game. This looks pretty good. What's the biggest sweat on this for you right here? First half under?
I'm comfortable with the under. Maybe just Boise State first half. Maybe New Mexico comes out flying a little bit, because I do think it's going to be a competitive game. But that probably would be the one. 73.5 points. There's some strong under trends. I'm a little surprised that the number's as big as it is. So, yeah, probably the Boise win the first half as part of that Boise daily double that you got to put in there.
Okay.
The one.
The trends are there. There you go, right there. I mean, 5-0 the under road games, and for New Mexico, and 5-0 just period under for Boise. So. All right. Well, that's good. That'll be a little bit later, and we'll keep an eye on that. That'll give you something for the train ride home for you personally, and a little late night sweat for me. I like that. Little Mountain West.
We did hit our black cloud. We hit our black cloud last night easily with LSU. Oh, that was a good pick. They were off on that line.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, again, I said it earlier today when I recorded Bostonian versus the Book, which comes on after Gabe and Cam tonight here on SportsGrid. Everybody remembers and goes, boy, the Book guys really knew. When the Eagles play the Commanders, the spread's -3, the total's 44.5, and the game finishes 24-21. Everyone's like, wow, they nailed that one. Yesterday, BYU was -1.5 or 2, and they won by like 38.
Yeah.
The game yesterday, the Black Cloud had LSU against South Carolina, right? And the line was 2 or 2.5. I can't remember what was on that Black Cloud. I think it was 2.5, right?
2.5, yeah.
Never close. So, as good as you are with the ones you remember, don't forget there's a lot of misses too. Just putting that out
there. That's for sure. Yeah. And we tend to hit some of those too, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah.
But we're 1-1 with the Black Cloud and 1-1 with the same game parlay. So if you add it together, because the SGPs obviously pay 4, 5, 6 to 1, we're ahead of the game. So, More college hoops, a little NBA action. We'll take a look at that when we come back. And Colby Dance.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1. Talking some hoops, little college basketball with our good buddy. You see him here all the time here on the grid. Check out his podcast, the College Experience Podcast. Mr. Colby Dance, who last time he was on, he passed the test. I forget exactly what the game was, but I challenged him and said, do you have any action on this game? And he actually did, as I did as well. I forget what it was. So, all right, here's part 2 of your test, Colby. You're going to impress us now if you say yes. If you say no, it's no shame. Do you have any action on St. Thomas, Minnesota at South Dakota tonight?
No, I do not, but I have South Dakota State. In state, if you go a little further down the road.
That's not bad. Okay, that's a secondary question. Okay.
That was part B. Yeah.
That was part B. Yeah. South Dakota, St. Thomas, the number 2 and number 3 over teams in all of college basketball. So we're over 175.5 tonight. So what's on your plate?
Yeah, no, I like that angle. The Tommies, they have been a factory ever since they entered from. They were in the D2 not that long ago, or D3 even, I think, not that long ago, and they jumped up and they've been playing good ball. But yeah, I mean, I see right now it's 31-25. So you're looking all right. Yeah, I took South Dakota State and they're down right now 7, which I'm laying 6.5. But a lot of the logic there is they haven't lost in that building all season. South Dakota State's kind of the cream of the crop in this conference. You've seen them in the NCAA tournament a lot over the past decade. So hopefully they come back. That's a huge rivalry game, the Dakota Marker rivalry they call it. So yeah, that I like to stay in the Dakotas with the wager, as often I can get.
Cool.
All right. So you're sweating out games, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay. I never know which game when you join the show you might be sweating. the LaSalle game, you can explain that to the people what is exactly going on, because there's not many people that come on a show sweating LaSalle. But tonight, late, the last game on the board, okay, is Rutgers and Washington. And for the West Coast people, this is a vaunted, historic Big Ten matchup. It sounds so absurd to say.
A lot of history
Rutgers
here.
all the way out to play Washington. It's a short number. It's kind of a mid total. What do you like in Rutgers basketball against Washington?
I am all over the Scarlet Knights. I think it's a money line play. You know, I think Washington's the road team here, guys. They were just at Penn State. Rutgers was at Oregon, so they've been out there. It's I've told you about this trend. The second game on the road, it has been great because, and especially when you can catch that West Coast team that's been all the way in State College, Pennsylvania, or Piscataway or College Park, because they're coming all the way back from that. Meanwhile, Rutgers is the ones body clock wise that is more adjusted to it. So not only that, Rutgers is the better basketball team too. So you're getting that. DJ Davis is questionable for Washington, which is a decent player for them. And really, Rutgers to me just is in a more desperate spot here. Like both these teams are probably not going to go to the NCAA tournament, but Rutgers, there's still hope. Like Washington, that thing's buried. So you're getting a super talented team with those freshmen that were highly touted going on the road, but kind of being the home team in a way. I don't expect this to be a lit environment. The crowd could care less about Rutgers. I would say it's probably going to be 20% capacity. And then I just believe Rutgers is actually the flat out better team. If they played on a neutral, Rutgers would be favored.
All right. Got a great Mountain West game. First place, New Mexico. At fourth place, or fifth place, Boise State laying 5.5 or 4.5 rather of the Broncos.
Yeah, I love Boise State here. It's one of my favorite plays. I mean, you're getting the worst of the number now, but it is what it is. I still think there's value in it. Look, Boise was the preseason favorite. I was at Mountain West Media Days. They all voted for Boise to win the Mountain West with all their experience with Deegan Harden, Andrew Meadow, and Omar Stanley all returning. And they've been a disappointment, but mainly, it's a good spot for them because they're coming off the road loss to San Diego State, and Brian Dutcher just always finds ways to get the maximum out of a team that you don't think is very talented. But they're coming back home, and New Mexico just beat Utah State at the pit. Utah State, that was for first place. That was a battle for first place. Game went all the way to the final couple seconds of that game. Boise, the more experienced team at home, they are 11-1 at home. And I think the way they just got embarrassed in San Diego, this is game they have circled. I'm all over Boise State here. I think the veteran experience and the fact that New Mexico under Richard Pitino has had their issues on the road. I took them a few weeks back with San Jose State on the money line, and San Jose State hit. So give me the Broncos all day here.
Talking about the SEC all season, talking about the SEC right now in this game. Alabama coming off the loss to Auburn, going to Mizzou. Mizzou's a really short number. It looks so obvious when you've been around and, watching college basketball all season. What looks to be the better team, getting points, although be it very few, at Missouri. Seems obvious. 171's the total. The game's probably going over is what I'm thinking. What do you like, side or total in this one?
I love Mizzou here. I think the line is telling you something there. Like, you look at what Dennis Gates has done. They're flying under the radar. No, I feel like half the SEC doesn't even know Mizzou's in the conference, right? But they're a top 10 team in steals. Top 10 team in steals. And look at everything else they chart at. They're 7th in offensive rating in the country, 85th in defensive rating in the country. Alabama don't play defense like that. And to me, Alabama also might get caught looking ahead. Like I said, Missouri's not getting any of the press that some of these other SEC teams are getting.
Nope.
Kentucky's on deck. Kentucky's coming to Tuscaloosa. But really, I think Dennis Gates, I always have question marks with that Nate Oates offense. I took Bama foolishly on Saturday against Auburn. I was disappointed in the lack of adjustments in that game. And I think really Dennis Gates will have a good game plan. And to me, Mizzou at home, you saw what they did to Kansas. This is a good team. This is a team that is criminally underrated this year. If you've watched the games, give me Mizzou to win it there at home there.
All right, Colby, I hope you're hungry because I have a big-time sandwich game on your plate right now. St. John's at DePaul. You like that, huh, Sharapan? Coming off a nice big win against Creighton. They got rival UConn coming up next, and now they're in Chicago to take on DePaul. This is the classic sandwich game. But you like St. John's, do you not?
You know, and I see the number actually went down a little bit overnight. I think you can get an 11.5 out there, but I do. Correct. And the main thing is that DePaul is a finesse team. You look at what DePaul is. I mean, first off, St. John's beat them by 30 the first matchup. And I think circle that. A lot of that has to do with DePaul and the style of play they play with. Like, this is a 3-point shooting team, finesse team, a team that doesn't like to rebound, a team that doesn't like to really get physical. Well, Rick Pitino, if you saw, I mean, I felt bad for those Creighton guards around the 40th minute the other night or 38th minute when they looked exhausted. It looked like a heavyweight fight, and you're just watching one guy just tapping out. I think that's the reality here. I think they're going to put it on them. It might take them to the second half to get it going, but I think DePaul is not ready for this 40 minutes of hell, really. So give me the Johnnies. I think they win by 17-18.
Wow. All right, quickly, you got about 10 seconds. A gambler only is looking at this game. Miami and Florida State made your list. Who in the hell's watching this basketball game? And only people are betting it.
Miami's, look, the NIL team, they got a bunch of talent, and it's a rivalry game, and Florida State's 5 of their players are suing the head coach. Take the Canes in a rivalry game.
Wow. Colby, you got a few more. You want to hold on? You got time for another segment?
Sure. Let's go.
All right, cool. All right, we'll take a break. Why not? Big college basketball night. Colby Dance. Coming up more right here on the Grid.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Pitino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1, talk with Colby Dant, the College Experience podcast. You know, we kind of ripped through that Miami-Florida State game. I don't know if you want to follow up on that, Colby, a little bit. I will say Florida State is 13-1, last 14 against Miami, but you said it. That program is falling apart. My goodness, between promises that apparently were made by Leonard Hamilton, now he's resigning. He wants to get the fudge out of there. That's a mess, right? Is that not almost like a bet against no matter who they're playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird game with everything going on with both universities. That's why I think if you're looking for a dog that could win outright, Miami is one that is actually, Jimmy Larinaga quits on them in December. They have a big NIL collective that put together that roster. They're super talented. Some of these guys will be playing professionally. And then, they've kind of been covering the past couple games. It looked like there's a little bit of buy-in, a little bit of fight for them. And to me, you got Florida State on the other side where it's like, I have no idea what's going on. The coach is gone. Fans aren't showing up, but the coach is getting sued by his own players. It's just, and they won the first matchup too. So and that's kind of when they were more intact before they started suing each other, before they announced his departure. So I think Miami is the more talented team on paper. Why not take a stab on it? It is a crazy game, though. I mean, there's no ducking that.
Number one team in the country is Auburn. They're playing Arkansas. And this number looks high, but it's high enough for you to go, you know what? Give me Arkansas. I think I'll take them because Auburn's been blowing teams out. They're the number one team to win it all. Number one seed over the tournament started right now. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm fading the Iron Bowl, hangover essentially. But I'm taking Arkansas here. Auburn is obviously the best team in the country. They look fantastic. The Jungle's a great environment, but this is a place. Don't forget, Calipari brought over some guys from Kentucky. Kentucky went in there and won outright last year at one of the hardest places to win. And if you look at Arkansas, I know you could say, well, they haven't necessarily been setting the world on fire this season. They've been playing a lot better the past 10 games. Now, does the record show up? No, not necessarily. But they did have that win at Texas, at Kentucky. I think they're capable of staying within this number. I don't think they're live to win this game, but they have some experience. John L. Davis is starting to get more comfortable with Calipari. Some of the other guys, too, I think are stepping up and realizing their roles. I think they can stay within that big number, but Auburn will win the game.
Mm-hmm. Another big number, Utah State laying 16.5 against San Jose State. Spartans live dogs tonight?
I don't think they're live, but I like the point still in this one. Aztecs are on deck for Utah State. That's a really, and that's a rivalry that is like, there's a lot of hate between those schools. Like when you watch those games, like there's a lot of animosity between those two schools. San Jose State's a talented team. I think we talked about them a week ago as like ATS. They've been darlings all year. And I talked about them earlier last segment because they beat New Mexico outright, but that was at home. On the road here, this is a tough environment. I think San Jose can stay within that number just because they're talented enough, but that is a very tough environment. Like that venue in general is one of the loudest venues in college basketball. But I'm looking like this is like a Utah State. San Jose covers. Let's go.
Okay.
18-6-1, by the way, San Jose State against the spread this year. 18-6-1.
That's pretty good. That's actually really good. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, Wetzel's got me all hungry for dinner out here on the West Coast with this mention of the sandwich game and this and that. Eddie Savarinsky is watching this show out in Vegas. He said Johnny Roast Beefs is this chain of restaurants in Chicago. I don't know. I didn't know that, but all well and good. Either way, there's not many shows. And this might be the first time we've ever done it here on In-Game Live Game Day right here on SportsGrid, where I've asked someone a question about Oral Roberts and Denver. You know there's nothing else going on except one NBA game, no hockey and nothing. It's -3. Denver is playing Oral Roberts. Colby Dant, the floor is yours.
I like Denver in this spot. I've already gone in on this one. Denver, yes, they're not a good team. They're an 8th in the Summit League. But guess who's in 9th? It's Oral Roberts. And Oral Roberts is a nice 0-13 on the road. And they're going to elevation. I think that's a sneaky factor. Tulsa, Oklahoma, all the way to Denver, Colorado. You're going to be playing at elevation. Denver's been a solid team at home too, and especially of late, I feel like they've covered a lot more games at home. They're just a better team, and I think you look at their guard play. You don't get a lot of good big men in the Summit League, so you just circle in on the guards. DeAndre Craig has kind of emerged. If you've caught some Denver Pioneer basketball, which I have, I think that's the difference maker right there. And Denver at home, like I said, especially towards the January and February, has been a little chippy. So let's go with these Pioneers laying that number against the winless road team, the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles.
Boy, impressed with Kentucky. They were up 1 at the half, Colby. They're now leading by 22 with the final minute, 58 seconds left. Nice job by
that
the
is
Cats
really
tonight, right?
impressive. Yeah, I mean, especially considering at Alabama was on deck. I thought they could get caught looking. And Vanderbilt's a team that I think going forward, they need one bit more big win. I think they'll get a home win against Georgia. Was it Georgia? They'll get a home win coming up, but they need one more big win to solidify them to be in the NCAA tournament. So I thought it could have been tonight. We thought it was going to be Tennessee the other night. They led for about 70% of that game, 80% of that game. It's going to be fun to watch, but I think Vanderbilt down the stretch, we got to find a spot because I think they're going to clip somebody.
Okay, so hopefully you're able to join us on Friday and look ahead stuff. Are you watching hockey tomorrow? Canada, USA for the world title. Are you watching hockey? It's a big game. We'll be talking about it. I can't wait to see it. Did you watch the fights? Do you like hockey? What do you think, Colby? 10 seconds.
I mean, we got what? I feel like there was 5 fights in the first 3 minutes. Winning my heart over. Let's go. Yes, I will be watching it. And you know who I'm repping. Red and blue through and through, right? Let's
there you go. Only one ranked college basketball team in action tomorrow. They cleaned the slate. How about that? Colby Dan, great job, man. The College Experience Podcast. Thanks.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Govern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are to learn, we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience, who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. You know what time it is? Time to take out the pad and pencils and get set for our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Yeah, teased you a little bit there with the opposite picks thing, didn't I? Yes, time for our best play. If you're a dollar player, put $2. Who knows? Go crazy. Put $3 down on this one because it cannot lose as it did not yesterday with LSU easily beating South Carolina, laying 2.5. So we're 1-1 on the week. I got to use the same philosophy here. There were a couple of games. There's a lot of good games, that are starting at 9 o'clock as we just ran down with Colby, right? So number of good games, but I'm going to kind of use the same philosophy, Dave, I used last night. Give me the home team in a battle between two bad teams, and I think the home team gets the win. So let's head out to Washington. Big Ten plays, crazy as that sounds. Washington hosting Rutgers. I'm going to go against Colby's thinking there. One of his main thoughts was that Washington was on the East Coast. Yes, but that was Saturday afternoon. So yesterday they flew out Saturday night. By Saturday night, they were back home. They had all day Sunday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday. Yeah. I don't think being on the East Coast is really going to bother them. Meanwhile, Rutgers, yes, this is the second one, but they were in Oregon. They got their ass kicked by the Ducks. So it's not like Oregon State. They got to fly a little bit to Washington. So give me Washington laying a 1.5. Rutgers only 2-6 straight up on the road this year. That they can't win on the road. 4-12 against the spread. Last 16 road games going back to last year. So we got a 2-year history that says Rutgers stinks on the road. Washington 9-6 this year at home. That's not too bad. 5-2 against the spread. Last 7 at home. They're playing their best ball they have all season. They've won 3 of their last 5, including their last game. Rutgers has lost 3 straight. So I'm getting the home team laying only 1.5 or so. May have bumped up to 2 in some circles, depending on where you do your shopping. But I think Washington gets the home win. They're as good as Rutgers, and they're at home.
We had to bring that back up. I'm glad that Colby liked Rutgers. You're on Washington. Neither one of these teams are good. I think he said it. Neither one of these teams is most likely making the tournament. Yeah. And boy, oh boy, this is a gambler special. This is one again. I don't know. Bad team on bad team. Take the home team. It worked yesterday. Hopefully it'll work today. I don't know if it's a sandwich. I don't know if it's a late night snack. I don't know what this is. It's the last game in the rotation. It's the last game on the board.
It's the bailout special.
Say, it might be. It's not in Hawaii, but it's out west. So it might be. I heard you say run line. You almost you said minus 1.5.
I'm getting there.
Thinking run line. We're getting ready for baseball. It's getting we're getting another day closer. And we got this guy in our ear. He just won't stop talking about the Mets and Juan Soto. We got him started at the beginning of the show, dressed in the Blue Jay stuff. We got to get college basketball to get to baseball. Although baseball starts tomorrow. Right. There's a spring training game tomorrow, Cubs and Dodgers. Do you partake in spring training baseball, Wetzel? Because you're looking at deep dives into college basketball. You're doing your podcast, the Opposite Picks podcast. I mean, the people know, the LLs know. Do you do preseason, spring training, baseball?
No. Like betting? No.
Yeah.
The only thing I will do is I will, at the end of spring training, see who's on top. And if you get like Kansas City last year, if memory serves me right, was like really good in spring training.
Took it very serious.
And it was like, ooh, okay, and then obviously look at the year that they had, a pretty good year. So if we get some perceived bad team that really does well, I'll kind of use that a little bit for the regular season, first couple of weeks. But as far as betting, nah. I know some guys do. God bless them. Some guys say they have a whole lot of success. I mean, I don't know how. You're playing AA teams. You're playing colleges.
No.
You get split squads.
Come on.
I mean, that's really degenerate stuff. That God bless you if you can find it.
It's good luck if you do it. The books put it up.
Yeah.
I mean, and people may bet it, but I caution people all the time. Don't get too crazy.
How do they even make lines for that, Dave? Just pick them basically.
You,
I mean, it's not
Yankees, Rays. who's pitching, who's playing. Do you know anything? Minus 150. How about that? There you go. Takes 3 seconds. That's it. There's not much thought that goes into it. There's no ratings. There's no anything. Split squads, you try not to do. Totals, you don't do. It's sides only. That's it. We got Big G coming up. Next segment.
Yes. Gilbert's
an
right.
NBA game.
Sport news. NBA talk coming up next.
Slow play drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Cam Stewart, Gabe Renzi take over for the next 2 after that. And then the Bostonian and the book. So full slate of action here on the grid. Talking some baskets. College basketball up until now. How about we turn our attention, Dave, to NBA. It resumes today with Lakers and Charlotte Hornets as they tip off in about an hour or so. Then we got the rest of the league starting up, tomorrow, and then we're back to the second half of the season. So let's bring in Gilbert McGregor. We've talked to him before. Great job. Covers the NBA for the Sporting News, my old stomping ground. And I'm told, Gilbert, you were at the All-Star game. We were talking in the break. So give me your impressions. I'll leave it at that. What'd you think?
I won't say I was underwhelmed. I was whelmed. It was a weekend that I don't know what it looked like through the broadcast. It left a little more to be desired, honestly. And I'm a big fan of it. I love the NBA. I'm always going to love the NBA. But there are a few things that are still working out. Mac McClung was awesome. The music was awesome during the All-Star break. And I think what really threw things off during the All-Star game was that really long break during the final game. But otherwise, it was a pretty good All-Star break, all that being said.
Do you like the format? Because, we talked about it all week here and on other shows that I've done. I love the NBA All-Star game for the game and the history of it and best on best. And you're back in Boston, and we'll ask you about best on best for tomorrow night. But I don't know what it is anymore. And they keep telling me, Dave, you're old, you're this, you're that. The kids like it. Do the kids like it, Gil? I mean, you got 4 teams, 2 played and another team play. It's play to 40. There's no clock. You're a hoop guy. Do you like it? What? I don't know.
I don't know, Dave. I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't know what the kids like anymore either. And it's kind of one of those things where I'm accepting that it's okay that I don't know what the kids like anymore. And honestly, for me, I do think it's a little weird, right? Anytime you have to take a break and one team has to sit for a little while through an entire 40 game to 40 points, somebody's going to get cold a little bit and you got to warm back up and things just are a little awkward. So we're so used to that 48-minute game and getting the showcase like that. And I know that sometimes it becomes a layup line or a dunk exhibition. And nowadays guys shoot three-pointers so well that becomes a part of it as well. So it's just not the same game that we're used to, the All-Star game. So it's a matter of adjusting to what a new All-Star game would look like. I'm just not sure if the 4-team tournament is the answer.
Yeah, I don't think they know what the answer really is at this point, Gilbert. I'm taking a peek over your college basketball. Cincinnati just scored 6 points in 3 seconds, literally, and now all of a sudden a 9-point game with West Virginia at the free throw line with 10 seconds left is now a one-possession game with 4 seconds left. Oh, my goodness. You're talking about a bad beat if Cincinnati steals this basketball and hits a three. All right, so second half of the season, Gilbert. It's funny. The top teams, Celtics are number one when it comes to odds-on favorite, but they're not number one. They probably won't catch Cleveland. OKC doing a great job. They're probably going to be number one, but they're not the second choice either. So where are we going NBA championship? And what about the lack of respect that's given Cleveland and OKC when it comes to the odds?
I think one of the things is with that is just we have to see it to believe it, right? And it kind of feels like the Celtics, as with a lot of defending champions, are a little bored with the regular season, or maybe bored is too strong of a word, but they just want to fast forward to April and get back going because now they know what it takes to win a championship. I think back to when the Warriors won that first time with Kevin Durant. The next year, they didn't win as many games during the regular season, but they were impossible to beat in the postseason again. And that's kind of how it feels with the Celtics right now. We're not going to believe a team can beat them 4 times in 7 tries until we actually see it. The Cavaliers have not matched up well against the Celtics this season. The Thunder have looked good, but we've also seen their flaws in those games when they don't get going from beyond the arc. Like the NBA Cup Championship, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was off. They couldn't get going from deep, and they couldn't win. So when we see those teams kind of address those flaws, the Knicks are another team who deserve a little bit of a mention. They're just lacking a few signature wins against those big teams this season as well. So I think the odds reflect just the fact that the Celtics have earned that respect as a team who we trust to turn the switch on when it matters most. And we're just not sure what it looks like when those other teams turn the switch on.
Talking about seeing it to believe it, Big G. Tonight, the Lakers are back in action. And since the last time we spoke, they only went and added Luka Doncic. So they're changed, right? That's a little adjustment. Good move. Huge favorites tonight. But going forward, what is the expectations? What was the buzz around the All-Star weekend and stuff about the Lakers? Because odds-wise, they are not the second choice to win the West, but there's a lot of people talking about them being the second best team in the West and a real possibility of getting to the Western Conference Finals. So globally tonight, what do you think? Luka props over maybe. And going forward, Lakers second half of the season.
Well, first off, the buzz around them was still a lot of shock. The fact that they were able to bring Luka Doncic in. And I don't think that set in with anybody, even though we've already seen him play with this team. Specific to tonight, it's going to be interesting to see what Luka Doncic, where he is. I know LeBron James didn't play in the All-Star game. He was questionable coming into tonight. So what to expect from Luka personally probably depends largely on LeBron James, if he's playing and the role he's going to play, how much he plays. I know Luka Doncic is still working through a minutes restriction, so I might be still a little leery of his props just until we figure out what his workload is going to look like. Now, bigger picture, Lakers have 30 games left. Tonight is a makeup game because it was postponed due to the wildfires. They have a couple more of those makeup games left down the schedule. I was looking at what they had on the schedule. They're 32-20 right now. 7 of their games, including tonight, and I'm including tomorrow against Portland to be generous, are games I'll consider to be gimmies, games that they need to get to take care of business against. They also have 8 games against the teams that are ahead of them in the standings. 3 of those games are against Denver. So it's going to be a lot of tests every night for this Lakers team. Pretty much, we know that they have struggled with the Nuggets in the postseason and in the regular season because they don't have a Nikola Jokic answer. Who does? But now they have Luka Doncic, and in years past, Nuggets have struggled with Luka Doncic, so maybe that's the answer in a weird way. But basically, for this Lakers team, every night is going to feel like a playoff game because not very many games separate those 2 through 5, 6 in the Western Conference, and they want to stay in that top 6. They're gonna have to win every night.
You cover the NBA as good as anybody, right? So, was there anything behind the scenes with Luka, or was it just Dallas really thought Anthony Davis was going to be the answer? Because I don't get it. They bring in Klay Thompson. No one gets it. We've been down this road. We all talked about it. The big three was all supposed to be there. They went to the NBA Finals last year. Did you uncover anything outside of they just thought that Anthony Davis was going to be healthy and play?
I'm still trying to make sense of it, Scott, and I know there's been some talk about Luka Doncic's conditioning and his playing weight, and honestly, you can be concerned about that, whatever, but the proof is in the results and what he did to lead this team to the NBA Finals last season. I thought that he was going to be a Maverick for life. Their fans thought he was going to be a Maverick for life, and I think that we're kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop, so to speak. Is there more information that comes out with him and something in the front office and some issues that he had with them and something that they just thought they could not reconcile over time? And that is the only answer, the only logical solution to it. Now, I know they recognize or they think that in the short term, they have a team that can win with Anthony Davis. And when he's healthy, that's big, but that's a big if. So we'll see how it plays out.
You're back in Boston. We're asking everybody that's coming on the show. Huge hockey game tomorrow in Boston. Canada, USA. You're a lover, not a fighter. But if you could fight and you were on that team, who you rooting for tomorrow night? We're going to be talking about it all day tomorrow.
Listen, I'm in Boston. I was born in the USA. I got to side with my team. It's hard to beat the same team twice in that short period of time, but I'm riding with the Americans.
All right.
Great job, Gilbert. Do it again. We'll do it again soon, man. For the Sport and News. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2.
Ooh.
Thanks once again to our guy, Gilbert McGregor of Sporting News, NBA writer. Does a great job, as always, as he joins us from time to time. So, yeah, I couldn't help, Dave, but take a peek at that. Listen, we've given out some winners tonight. You got to admit that. You've had to sweat, for them, but at least, in the end, we've had a smile on our face. So, about 10 minutes or so ago, it was basically Pick'em Cincinnati, West Virginia. We said, we'll take a flyer on West Virginia. Why not? They're at home. So, right, they're at the free throw line against Cincinnati, up 9 with 16 seconds left, right? Kid throws up an air ball, barely, barely hits the rim. All right, we're up 9. Who cares, right?
Yep.
Cincy comes down, throws an off-balance bank three-pointer with 9 seconds left, right? 8 seconds left. All right, now we're down to 6. All right, 8 seconds left. Who cares?
Right.
West Virginia throws the ball away on the inbounds play.
Yep.
Kid runs to the corner, again, off balance, falling out of bounds, throws up a 3, nothing but net. Now it's down to 3 with 4 seconds left. Timeout, West Virginia. All right, let's regroup. Bobby Huggins Jr. over there on the sidelines reading his kids the riot act, right? It's not Bobby Huggins anymore, but clearly. So what happens? West Virginia throws the ball away on the inbounds play. They go to review. It takes about 5 minutes, literally. So Cincinnati, once down 9 with West Virginia on the free throw line, is now in a position to tie the game. They run a great play, and they get a guy, right? You saw the replay, wide open from 3, dead set center, plenty of time, 3 seconds left to set up, hits the front of the rim, no good. West Virginia wins by 3. But what
Left
a crazy
it short.
finish. Left it short.
Friend of mine, really good follow on social, Jim Root. He's at Second Chance Points. He does a great podcast, College Hoops guy. He just summed it up like this. Cincinnati was down 62-53 with 10 seconds left. Cincinnati had a wide open look from 3 to send it to OT. Wild sport. The line, just for those of you that may or may not be interested, and I'm sure some of you are, closed West Virginia minus 3.5.
I thought.
Final score, West Virginia wins by 3. You were leading the game 62-53. You're not even, well, you're pretty decent with the math. That's a difference of 9. You're up 9 with 10 seconds to go.
At the free throw line.
Thinking about where you're going to dinner with the winnings when you cash the ticket. I mean, like, listen, you could go to Sizzler or you could go get steak. All right? You're talking about all these sandwich games. I'm thinking about where I'm going after the show. And then all of a sudden, you don't cover. It's a tough sport. College basketball will get you sometimes. But if you had Cincinnati, boy, oh boy, now you're rolling. This one is the one that leads to something else, right? You come back on the Black Cloud play of the night. You go, you know what? This Wetzel guy, he may be on to something. Give me Washington tonight against Rutgers. So, yeah, it's nuts. Get ready. I mean, it's that time of year, right? It's that's what March Madness is all about. And it's February. Yeah. It's February fun, March Madness, whatever you want to call it, college hoops betting. It'll get you. Sometimes it'll get you good. Sometimes it'll get you bad.
Yeah, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. I mean, you know what? It's not even like they inbounded, fouled, and then missed the front end of a 1-and-1. You see that all the time. This wasn't – they were throwing the ball away. Just inbound the ball. I don't understand why the coach, after that first 3, I would have called timeout. All right, they're in the game. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 4 guys in the front court. There's 8 seconds left. I don't care if you throw it to them. What's the difference? They're in the front court. It's going to take them 3-4 seconds to get into their front court. And by the time they shoot, the game's going to be over, basically. He didn't do that then, and then he didn't do it the second time when he actually called the timeout. He's got all his guys in the front court, so if you throw it away in the front court, what's going to happen? The guy's going to, they're going to be in a position to inbound the ball where they did. College basketball, I'm not sure why, Dave, but women's basketball and NBA, you can move the ball into the front court. Men's
Right.
college basketball, you can't. So if you throw that ball out of bounds or gets tipped out of bounds in like West Virginia's front court, then Cincinnati has to inbound the ball all the way back there. I don't know why they're the only sport that doesn't do it, but they are.
Well,
so that's just bad coaching to me.
That's a good look from an official. I mean, everybody that watches the show regularly knows that, you've studied the game, you're a student of the game, official, world-class official. In addition to co-hosting this show and appearing all the time on the network, you're a rules guy. So I like that. Now, you've handed the ball to kids, like inbounding the ball. Do you tell them, are you counting with your arm doing that 1, 2, 3? Are you counting it out loud, or you just hold the whistle and make them get nervous when they do that? And are you a quick guy with that count? Because it has to be consistent. How do you do it with are you consistent with the arm when you're counting that out?
I'm consistent. I don't tell them until I get to like 4, and you're really not supposed to tell them. But I'm like 4, throw the ball in, and then you give like a little pregnant pause 5. 4 to 5.
You slow count them.
Little bit.
Players official.
Yeah.
Okay, I like.
Yeah, I'm a players guy.
But I mean, if you've ever sat courtside at a college basketball game, a lot of times there's not a lot of room to inbound the ball. You say, just inbound the ball. Like sometimes it's harder than it looks. You just kind of poo-pooed that. It's a little harder to get that ball in and, get someone to catch it and hold it so they get fouled and then get to the free throw line. The end of basketball games is one of the most random things in all of sports. It's crazy sometimes.
What was that game? I think about 3 years ago in the NCAA tournament, Texas A&M blew like a 10-point lead in 40 seconds. I remember I had them in my brackets. I forget who they lost to. Oh, that pissed me off. That really, I had them and they were in a position to upset someone good.
If you have Alabama tonight, you're not happy. 28-15 start for Mizzou.
Wow.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week, to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Skovron, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs have a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back to In-Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. We got Cam Stewart coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. We'll go over some of the golf picks that he has, a little college basketball, no doubt, and probably some thoughts on NBA, Lakers, and Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, any thoughts on the NBA tonight? I'm kind of more into it tomorrow. I don't even know if LeBron's playing. I imagine he will after sending out that video yesterday of him working out with his daughter, but Listen, I understand you got to play it, because of the fires. So otherwise, most of the action resumes tomorrow. 12.5 is a big number too.
It is a big number. No, not real. I mean, I'll take a peek at it, and more for the Lucas stuff. Really, I want to see as much. If I'm in the book, I'm trying to figure out what to make his props. They've been high so far. There's talk of it being off the limit, restrictions for the minutes. Gil said it. Nothing really strong side or total. And again, it jumps back in tomorrow between you and I. It's been a nice break to just kind of focus on college basketball. Monday we had the hockey. Tomorrow we have the hockey. So yeah, it'll be back, but it'll kind of ease into it a little bit. I am excited about baseball. I was looking at season win stuff, and we discussed you did some really interesting work with those season wins in season totals for the NBA. The Laker one is intriguing. And, Gil said it like, this is a layup tonight. Tomorrow should be a layup as well. If they lose either one of these games, then that total's in a little bit of jeopardy. So
yeah,
we'll start off and we'll keep an eye on that the rest of the season too.
Yeah, I think they're good enough though, where they have a tough schedule. People say, but I just think they're better than everybody else though. When they want to play, which is why they went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Which is why they may have gone last year had they not played Denver. Who knows in the first round? And I think LeBron's all. I think he's all geeked up for this, with Luka coming back. I do. So I think they're going to play serious basketball the rest of the way. So won't be easy, but I'm curious to see those 3 games against Denver because that's the big match. Where they have no center and the Joker. You talk about, prop bets. I mean, if the Joker takes those games seriously, he's going to go for 40 every night.
Without a doubt. And I think that's the question I think a lot of people have that even like the Lakers is like, what are they going to do defensively and what are they going to do in the middle? So numbers wise, we're thinking overs, and we're thinking they got to outscore and, score 125 or 130 in a game to win. Can they do that as the playoffs start? Well, we got to see where they fit in the path through the playoffs. So yeah, they would like to see Denver last if they have to. I would think in the Western Conference playoffs, but OKC learned a lot last year. Fun team to watch. Denver, obviously, with Joker playing the way he's playing, fun to watch. I still think Memphis is going to be one of those teams. It's not going to be a very hard out. Top half of the West it looks pretty good.
Loaded. By the way, the All-Star game supposedly second least watch in history.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness. Whoa. According to Front Office Sports. Second least. And we're in a day and age where everything, WNBA, tennis, auto racing, everything is going up, right? And the NBA's got the second least.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was really unwatchable. It really was. But, all right. There you go. Something to work on, boys. Something, No doubt they'll have something different next year. Just go back to the old All-Star game. Just have some fun. That's what I would say. But
speaking of working on something, I was just looking. Yeah. Miami's leading Florida State 16-12. But the score, when you glance down and see the games that are going on right now that we have to talk about, is Alabama getting housed at Missouri. Short number. Again, it was obvious to everybody in the business. Missouri was the play, and so far they are the play, 33-17. We're at the halfway point of the first half. And what is the in-game number? It's 11.5. 11.5. Alabama, top 5 team, getting housed so far to start
Smoked. Tonight. How about the over-under? 186.5.
Yeah, over.
Up from the 170.5 that, Wow. There might not be a number. We might get 200 plus when everything's said and done in that game. How about Arkansas hanging tough with Auburn so far? 17 all. I think they're live dogs. I think Calipari had his boys playing well tonight. I do. I like that plus the 11.5. All right, in-game live. Continue.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who knows how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, game day on the grid. Yeah, so we found the game I was talking about before. Good job by Matty G, my producer. So it was in the 2016-17 NCAA tournament, and it was Texas A&M as the number 3 seed taking on the number 11 seed Northern Iowa Panthers. It was even worse than what I said.
Yes.
This was by far, to me, the worst college basketball loss I've seen. Northern Iowa... Yeah. Northern Iowa, Dave, was up 12 after hitting 2 free throws with 44 seconds left.
Correct.
They were up 10 with 34 seconds left after A&M hit a little layup that I'm sure Northern Iowa, if memory serves me right, just said, okay, go ahead, whatever. Still 10-point lead with 34 seconds. And and it wasn't the same thing as this game. It wasn't fouling, missed free throws. Turn the ball over, layup. Turn the ball over, layup. Turn the ball over, 3-point shot. Turn the ball. They couldn't get the ball in bounds. The game goes to overtime, eventually double overtime, and they lose 92-88. Yeah, ruined my bracket. I remember that.
I remember that one because I was working at the Cosmo on the Las Vegas Strip. They had a huge party upstairs. Big ballroom complete with like little basketball courts on each corner, huge amount of food with bedding windows inside. And there was a group of guys that had Northern Iowa money line. And they were so excited and they were going crazy as they were winning. And they were already plotting what the line, we were talking, a couple minutes before that about what they might be in the next game and all this other stuff. And then complete silence. Like it was It was an awkward pain that I was sitting there watching these guys go through because they had the points, and we didn't have the in-game stuff going at the time. So this was back then when it was like, you sat there and just sweated a game. Like, boys and girls, believe it or not, there was a time that you couldn't make any bets. You made a bet pregame and you sat and watched it. This was one of those times. It was a crusher for those guys. They just sauntered right out of the sports book as Northern Iowa lost. They probably went back out to the pool and got sunburned like everybody else that comes out for March Madness. It was a brutal loss. You're bringing it up, and yeah, that was not a fun moment for Northern Iowa backers. But again, the Texas A&M money line people were happy. So there's two sides to every story, but that one was a tough one for the Northern Iowa people. Yeah,
you could have that scenario play out 100 times, right? All right, you got a 12-point lead with 44 seconds left. I don't know if it wouldn't be more than 1 in 100. I don't know if they would have offered in-game live numbers on that with less than a minute left. But if they would, I'm sure you couldn't bet the favorite. It would just be the underdog if you're stupid enough to bet the underdog down 12, right?
Yeah, we've seen it. I don't think you have the money line up at that point. You turn it off. There's no, you can't put enough zeros on the favorite to make the money line be up, But we've seen some crazy stuff. I think it goes up to you have to lay 100 to 1, so it's it looks like minus 10,000, and you might see plus 20 to 1 on the dog in that situation. It's not enough. It wouldn't be. That's not enough to technically take the dog. So you make the line 10.5 maybe and have it go in balance, and then maybe you make it 6.5 on the way down. But it happened so fast that, it would be almost impossible. I know you turn it back on when overtime, they get to overtime. Right. Texas A&M is a huge favorite. So not only did they lose, Northern Iowa did, but it took an extra overtime to do it, which is just a crusher.
Wow. I remember it, though. This is amazing. All right, so Missouri leading Bama 35-21, 7.5 left first. Florida State, Miami tied at 20. Zags, I do like the over with the Zaga game. It's right around where the number was, 160. They're leading 29-19 at Washington State, 6.5 minutes left in that contest. Arkansas by 2 over Auburn midway through the first half, 19-17. Like I said, plus 10.5. I like them, with the earlier number, but I still think they're going to actually, be competitive in that game. And a little surprise, the over-under is only 144.5. You got 36 points, 7.5 minutes left. Yeah, I guess that's about right, I guess. Let's see what else we got here tonight.
Did you look at Oregon and Iowa? Oregon and Iowa are at halftime. Iowa's been a mess, just an absolute mess.
So many
Oregon.
injuries.
Right. Oregon closed 2.5-point favorite. The total closed 160. It's 45-37 at halftime. Oregon 6.5-point favorite right now. 165.5 is the total. Can't make a case for Iowa. Can you? I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
No.
They've had a ton of injuries. I did play the over. It was like 159.5, 160 to start the game. I don't know if I would go to 165.5, but at least it's at a halfway decent pace. This is the time of year where I don't mind taking a better team on the road.
Yep.
These lesser teams like Iowa's just beaten up to death. Not that Oregon's great, right? But they are the better team. I don't mind putting them in there either as favorites or slight dogs or 1, 2.5 point favorites like they were tonight. It just. The atmosphere is not the same. They're all kind of waiting for the postseason tournament. They realize they're not going to get in unless they have a postseason run with the conference tournament. Right. So, So if I would have done Oregon, and they are up 8. But I did like the over. So that's going to have decent. So.
All right. We're going to talk to Cam next, and I think he's got some golf for us with this Mexico Open, but I hope he likes my Toronto stuff. I wore the Blue Jay stuff with him in mind. I'll be interested to see what he says. We talked to him a little bit yesterday about Vlad and what he said. We got the reaction today. I bet he's on Washington. I bet I'm going to say he's going to be on
Rutgers?
Washington. Yeah. It turns out, I mean, like, Colby was on earlier. He liked Rutgers. Black Cloud play tonight is Washington. So Cam will be the deciding vote for that game. I'm staying out of it because it's I can't believe you used that game.
Yeah, I like that game. I mean, I've been rooting for Rutgers, so I've been following them a little bit closer, because I'm a Jersey guy. And they had these two big recruits, and the coach came from a Long Island school, Stony Brook. So I'm into that, But they're just not that good. I will say this for Colby: Denver is leading Oral Roberts 24-17. I was going to put that in because he convinced me, right? And I kind of forgot. Now it's 5.5. Well, now it's 7.5. Fudge! I may have missed the boat on that one. I don't know if I can lay 7.5 with Denver. But they don't offer in-game live betting, at least not on my site. But I will tell you, St. Thomas, Minnesota is leading South Dakota 71-66, 5.5 minutes left. 137. We need 40 more points. Yeah, that's not looking good. That's the 175.5 one, right?
You're really a pro. If you guys are watching this anywhere and you have an in-game number for this, tweet it at us. Let us know.
Yeah.
Tag SportsGrid, because I have two apps open right now and I don't see it at either place. Now, you would be the guy that would call me at the book and say, are you going to have an in-game number for St. Thomas in South Dakota tonight? And I'm going to be like, no, Wetzel, we're not. And yeah, this is it's a mission right now to find an in-game number on this. St. Thomas 71, South Dakota 69. 5 minutes to go. What was the total?
The good news is the second half score.
I don't think we're going to get
Yeah, you know why? Because the first half killed us. But the good news is the second half has nearly as many points with 5 minutes left as the first half. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get there. Bless him. He got the game with numbers on that.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scavern, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are going to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night. But it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. You know what time it is? Time for our good buddy, Mr. Cam Stewart, to come on in as he takes over along with Gabe Morency at the top of the hour. Do a little golf on a Wednesday, as we always do. little college basketball, and who knows, maybe even take a peek at the NBA Lakers and Charlotte Hornets. What's going on, Cam? How are you tonight, bud?
Doing pretty good, Scott. Things are good. Surviving, living. Betting Notre Dame wasn't pretty smart, but I did a lot of other smart things tonight. But betting on Notre Dame after their coach's speech was probably one of the stupider things I've done, and I thought it might motivate. But it's kind of like we talked about last night on Sports Rage. You know, when Kansas lays an egg like that, and Gabe's the best. It's like Bill Self, man. You could even tell this guy just wants to get out of Dodge, and that's the whole thing. Like when you're getting smoked like that at home, versus SMU, it looks like. Remember, they're kids. Sometimes they can fight for you. Other times they can tap out and they're thinking about, doing other things, right? So that was stupid, but wrong motivation there, guys. But other than that, games tonight, I'm going to take a small play with Rutgers. You know me, I am a Washington guy. We have Washington in the family, but it's tough, Scott. They're would you not say evenly matched teams? Rutgers is getting to,
You see what this is? The Black Cloud play of the night is Washington.
This is what I like when you don't give me the emails or anything. We keep it nice and real. Right. Scott, we've been on. Hey, we were on the BYU cloud last night, and all that did was parted. All I saw was a rainbow with pots of money, like a Lucky Charms commercial at the end of that night. That game was. They paid me before it even started. On a couple of my books, they're up, bing, get the check mark. I'm like, hey, I could reinvest. Ching. That was fun. But so you like Washington tonight, Scott? It's tough. You go up to Seattle, tough place to play. But Rutgers, 3-game losing streak. I think they can just go in there and maybe squeak it out. Very, very tight game. I would expect this one to come down to the very, very end. I'll take the 2-point dog. But why do you like Washington tonight? But I think we're both on Boise, correct? Are we? Give me Broncos.
Yeah, both on Boise. both like the Broncos. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Wish it was 2.5, 4.5. Little pricey, but I'll do it just the same.
He's got it in the same game parlay, Cam. So, you involved Boise in the same game parlay. The same game parlay almost got there last night. We had BYU littered all over it, 4 pieces. And again, we have to ask because it's on the schedule. Did you do anything before we get to the golf with the Lakers and the Hornets? It's the only game on the board. The NBA comes in full force tomorrow. It was a pass on this show for us. Even the Lucas stuff, all pass. Anything for you with that game?
I haven't bet it. I'll see what Gabe does. Maybe we'll play it during the show. That's what we like to do.
Okay.
I'll wait for Australian horse racing to come on at the end of the show. That's what I do when I sign off. That's my, some people watch TV or read before they go to bed. I bet Australian horse racing. We're all different people in the world, Dave. And I enjoy it. It's actually, I won a couple hundred the other night. So, I'm literally betting this blind. I don't have the Australian form. I just look at horses and go, okay, I like the way that horse looks. He's groomed well, or he's not foaming too much at the mouth. But anyway, little things that you've learned over the years. This is what we're doing. This game, I will say this. I'm going to make a statement, guys. We talked about Michigan being maybe a team that can go deep, like Elite Eight in the tournament, and I kind of agree with Gabe. That's his club. I'm telling you, I like Missouri. Missouri is my super dark horse going into this thing. Ooh. I talked to Brandon, one of our fans. Shout out to Brandon in St. Louis. Great guy, even though he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Me and him and Gabe have been tight for 2 decades since we've been doing shows on other networks, and I really like what I see from this team. They're playing Alabama and winning right now. If they can find a way to get this done, and people are like, why is Missouri favored? Well, they're at home, and it was only a 1-point line, and they're a very, very dangerous team, guys. And, Scott, I'm not sure if you guys are watching, but this team is getting better and better as they're getting. Sometimes it's like life. Sometimes the results aren't always there, but when you watch the picture, and I like to tape some of these games, too, when they're on the extra networks and watch them again. Yeah. I like what I'm seeing with these teams. It's like they're passing the eye test right now. I'm not going to say they're going to win the national championship. That's probably not going to happen. I'm just saying Missouri is a dark horse. So let's watch out for the Missouri Tigers to make a run maybe to the Elite Eight in the tournament. Here we go. Golf. Mexican Open. Dave, what do we like to do after a couple Jaggers? I don't know. We'll hit the clubs. We'll see. I'd like to come back and visit you in Vegas if our dollar wasn't worth 59 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it's about 67. But whatever. I digress. Steven Jaeger, give me 32 Jaeger bombs for Wetzel, Dave, and the crew here at SportsGrid, please. This guy has finished top 20 in this tournament every single year. He fits all the boxes now. And I'm telling you, I had this guy when he hit one into a neighbor's pool. This is redemption in Mexico for Jaeger. Then we're going to go with Michael Kim. I think Brady might like him too. Catch our show at 10 o'clock. Gabe is on, and Brady Cannon and I will have golf picks at 10:14 Eastern time, guys. He is an absolute heater. He was on me last week with Ludwig Aberg. We both won. Give me Michael Kim at 30. Jake Afternoon Knapp, defending champion. This guy, total driving is a big thing, and he fits it. 38-1. Matt Wallace, a crafty Bret, weekend field. I will take him at 55. And, sorry, guys. I should have said the name is Michael Thior. I can understand how this gets screwed up. There's 3 Thiorborns. I want Michael Thior Bjornsson at 80 at the American, but I do also like Thior Bjorn Olesen, meaning Thunder Bear in Danish. But the pick I really have is Michael Thior Bjornsson. Guys, we got top 10s and 20s. Let's get the party started here. I like a lot of interesting players right now. Ashke Bate is the favorite in the tournament. I will take him for a top 10 at plus 170. Rasmus Højgaard, all you've done is put money in my pocket until last week. You absolutely stole money from me. It's respectable. I took from you. Now you took from me. We're even. Plus 210. Kurt Kitayama, plus 230 for a top 10. Great ball striker. Sam Stevens, one of the best players you'll never hear about. You'll hear about him this week when he finishes in top 10. I'll be safe for plus 125. Michael Kim, plus 140. And guys, one of our old friends, Chris Ventura, golf detective. Shout out to our boy, Chris Ventura, who used to work at SportsGrid. Bo Hostler, first round leaders. Let's rock, 40-1. Harry Hall from UNLV loves to start early. Thursday Warrior, Taylor Moore, 45-1. EVR, Eric Von Ruin, another classic Thursday quick starter. Vincent, don't call me Greg, Norman at 70. And Trey Mullinex, who the hell are you? Well, I watch a lot of mini tour events. He's on tour, and he plays well in weekend events. There we go, guys, 85-1. And you know what? I'm actually going to throw in Chris Ventura, golf detective, 75-1 for first round leader as well. Let's make it a 7-pack this week.
You got 10 seconds. All right, that's a lot of golf. But you know what we're talking about. Tomorrow night,
Canada 4-2.
US.
Canada 4-2. I still love you guys.
We're getting ready, Cam.
I love your Blue Jays jersey. Hey, at SportsGrid, we don't care about tariffs. We love each other. We're a North American company and friends. But sorry, guys, tomorrow it's all about Canada. See ya. Oh, Canada. Cut my mic. Cut my mic.
Come on. More coming up.
Slow play, drum beat grows louder and louder every week to the point now that they're making overt references to it on the broadcast.
So there's plenty of other guys that have to get faster. Tom definitely is more deliberate in his conversations, always has been since he's been on tour. I just think about Joe Scoverin, when those two started working together, how their conversations always seem to just keep on going and going.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
At some point, these 80s are to learn we don't need to hire ex-NBA guys. I need guys with college experience who's gone out and recruited, who know how to develop talent. NBA guys with no college experience don't work in college basketball. I understand they run NBA-style offenses, but it doesn't mean they can run college programs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
But if it ends up being 1 versus 2, which seems likely because the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead over Boston, the Celtics 3 games clear of the New York Knicks.
They're not unstoppable, not running away with everything, but for them to blow a 5.5 game lead on the backstretch in the NBA, already being a quality team outside of disastrous injuries, I don't buy that at this time.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Patino himself, in a clip that we just played, said basically the stats are not backing up the team's wins.
St. John's offensive glass. That's where a lot of opportunities for St. John's came from. St. John's does not shoot the basketball well. It might even be fair to say they shoot it poorly. They were 3 of 16 from deep last night, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, thanks to Cam Stewart for joining us. He'll take over top of the hour along with Gabe Morency as they take you over the next two right here on SportsGrid Radio, SportsGrid TV. So, yep, the biggie tomorrow night. We got more and more players dropping out of this thing. I don't know what happened to poor Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins. I mean, he's making big hits and left and right. All of a sudden, he's in a hospital. Now he's got some procedure done. It's infected. His shoulder's all screwed up and everything else. So, we got a couple of other guys that are dropping out. I wonder if, it was nice, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, but I wonder if the players are like, we just want to get back to the regular NHL. We don't want guys getting hurt in this thing. So I know the anticipation is going to be a rematch, but I don't know if you're going to get that intense, crazy fighting first, 10 seconds literally of the game.
I think it would be almost disingenuous if you do, because it was the way it was done and got everybody going. Now we expect it. So now, let's not do it. Let's just go out and play intense, score the first goal if you're the U.S. The odds are sitting the same, despite the fact that, McAvoy's a big part of the defense, and the total's still sitting at 5.5. I really feel like we're going to get that game that it's going to live up to the billing. Now, the last one for some maybe didn't because it was a low-scoring game. There's MVP markets. If Canada wins, it looks pretty obvious that it's going to be McDavid. He's been great. He had a goal in the first game. He split the defense, was skating. They had that thing on him. It's 25 miles an hour. You know how fast? Like, you've driven through the school zone. 25 miles an hour skating is incredible. I hope that we get more of the same. I don't want a blowout. I want the U.S. to win, obviously. I want to see a good game either way. Right now, I said it. I thought Canada was going to win the first game. I think Canada is going to win the second game. Right now, I want the U.S. to win, but I'm thinking Canada's going to get it done. It's hard to beat the team twice. It really is tough.
It is hard. The one saving grace is it's Jordan Binnington in goal, for Canada, and that's good for Team USA. They still do have the major. I mean, if they don't win, great. I mean, how much pressure is going? I know he's got the Stanley Cup Finals coming up, or playoffs rather coming up, so he can exercise those demons. But that's been his bugaboo, right? Not being able to win in pressure moments. If he blows this, even if it's not his fault, even if it's 2-1, I mean, you got to win, Connor. You just have to.
I mean, you can only control so much. Don't forget. Crosby never lost wearing that Canadian jersey until Saturday. That was the first loss that he's had. Right? I mean, that streak was 26-0 up until Saturday night. So, listen, just enjoy it. Even if you don't wager on it, it's going to be an electric atmosphere sports-wise. I got a guy. He sent me a text this morning. I got you a ticket. If you want to go, tickets on me. Come up and go to the game. I'm like, I live in Vegas. I would love to just get on a flight and go to a hockey game. Try explaining that to the wife right now. It's not easy. I mean, I've tried to get you to explain to the wife to come out in Vegas and hang out with me. You tell her you're doing a weekend tournament, a basketball tournament out in Vegas. Maybe she'll go for it. Mine, though, said, no, you're not going. You'll stay and you'll do in-game live with Wetzel during the game. I will be maniacal. I can't wait. Boy, it's going to be exciting.
Decent tickets, not even great tickets, going for $2,000. Now, listen, you can ask for anything. Do you get that? I don't know. But when I looked this afternoon, like just to get into the building, upper deck, it's like $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, and then the lower level is where you get into the 2000s. I mean, it's amazing.
My guy's name's Steve. We played hockey together as grown-ups in the men's league in Phoenix when I lived in Phoenix. So we're going back 25 years. He's a Boston guy, and he was our team enforcer. He sends me this text and says, Davey, I got you a ticket for the game. Come. It's on me. And I said, Steve, What are you talking about? He's like, we need to be in that building. Like, he wants to lace his gloves, his skates up. He's 62 years old. He still wants to go play. That's how exciting. Hockey fans of all ages are ready for tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Should be a lot of fun. We'll check it out. We'll have some SGPs. We'll do it all tomorrow night. So I'm right back to the grid. Let's go Washington tonight.
Let's go Huskies.